Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here with us. I am Patricia Jo Grover, the CEO of patriciajogrover.com, also known as a goal achievement strategist. And I want to let you know that you are going to learn so much from this event and the other speakers here. And I hope you're ready with a notebook and a writing utensil so that you can get the most out of this. Are you ready to begin? Retaking, reshaping, and remaking our futures as we rise above the challenges that life has brought our way. Being here, watching and listening at this moment is no accident. You are meant to be here. We are living in an environment these days where most of us, with our lives and businesses, they're not as usual. We've all had to adjust in one or more of the dimensions of our lives. If I shared a little inside secret with you relating to how it is possible to find more balance, joy, and overall satisfaction with all the areas of our lives, what would you say? Most people would probably say, I'd like to hear more. Some maybe say they don't think it's possible at all, but they'd be willing to listen. And a handful could even say they're not interested in hearing about it because they believe that it's impossible. So I ask you now, which one of these are you? What words are you choosing to use with yourself? Because the answer that you've given to yourself shows where some of the puzzle pieces may be missing, lost, or misplaced. You see, it's important, the words that we use with ourselves, whether we speak them aloud or not. We all have beliefs. Many of them come from what we experienced as children, when our belief windows were being formed, meaning that the way that our adults saw life and lived theirs is what we saw as our own truths. I go into this more in depth in my book, Living Outside the Box. You know, as humans, we have the tendency of putting ourselves inside a box with those limiting beliefs that were bestowed upon us as children, or that we've made for ourselves, that we've or even allowed other people to put us in those boxes as adults because the way that we have allowed them to talk to us or treat us. The proprietary conquering skills education that I teach as a goal achievement strategist with my entire Riseabove platform helps us to break through those cycles that most people find ourselves in at one point or another, either in our personal or professional lives. Who's ready to start changing your mindset from thinking that things may be impossible to telling yourself, I am possible? Are you ready to learn how to put yourself first and not feel guilty about it? You are worthy and capable of having more, being more, doing more, and earning more. Doesn't that sound amazing? Now, I bet you want to hear more. So it's time to grab that pen and pencil and the notebook and put on those big girl panties so that we can get to work. I say that because there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. And ahead of us, we may get into some painful areas as we start learning about ourselves. As a goal achievement strategist, for me, I need to be able to get you to understand where you are currently at, where you're coming from now, and where you're finding yourself so that we can get you to where you want to be. It's all discovery right now, and in that discovery of who we are and where we're at. So let me tell you this little story. Pretend, and this equates to us figuring out where we are right now. So if I were going to be coming to visit you and I jumped on a plane, I had my bag packed, I jumped on the plane and, the plane landed, I got off the plane and found, oh, geez, they lost my bag. Okay, well, still, I want to get to you and see you. So then, I get my rental car and I hop in there and I start driving and I just get out from the airport and I'm on the highway and I have to pull over because I was so excited to get home and so upset that I lost my bag. you know, I forgot to plug your address into the GPS. But you know what? I didn't have your address for whatever reason. I didn't have it right there. So, you know, I'm giving you a call and I'm saying, hey, I'm here. You know, I just got out of the airport, and can you tell me how to get to your house? Well, you know, if I can't tell you exactly where I am, the road or street or whatever that I'm at, how can you help me get to where your house is and your location? You can't unless I know where I'm at. And so that's what I wanted to, you know, equate to and help you understand a little bit more about the importance of knowing where we are, so we know how to get from one place to another. So moving on, we need to know where we're each starting from. And that's so key, so very important. So once we know that, then we need to own it. And this is where retaking, reshaping, and remaking the future. Okay. We need to know where we're at. So we need to own that. No, it could be, again, it could be we're coming out of a bad experience, whether it be a domestic abuse situation. It could be we've been through trauma related to COVID and losing jobs, businesses, homes, you know, so on. You know, there's so many things that cause us to have to start over again and start a new chapter, or again, having to pivot or whatever with our business and everything because of the challenges that we faced. Okay. So we need to own this, and now we need to retake this. So that's the reality that we're now facing. And that can be in life or business, or a combination of both. So now let me share another story. Okay. That luggage, remember I told you I had lost my luggage? That is the luggage, I say, is our baggage. We all have it. We need to name it and claim it. So pretend you're sitting there one day and you're so busy. You got family stuff going on, work stuff going on and everything. But then there's a knock on your door, and what it is, it's the baggage claim company delivering your bag. Okay. This bag, it's been missing for a while. So anything that was in there that you really needed, you replaced immediately, right? But you have that bag and you say, oh, you know, so you look at it and you open it up, and there's stuff in there. There's stuff that no longer suits the new you, no longer fits you. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's where I say name it and claim it, because we do. We all have baggage and things that can hold us back if we allow them to do so. There are some things maybe in there that did cause us to have joy in our lives. We want to hold on to those and keep those things. So yes, we unpack those and put those in a special place, right? But those things, again, that no longer serve us, we get rid of. You know, we've already replaced them with new things. So thinking about it this way. So I want to share that story to give you an explanation of that. So now, once we've gotten unpacked and figured out what we're keeping and figure out what we've already replaced, now it's time to determine what we still want, need, and desire, right? This is where it comes in that we need to accept the fact that we are worthy and we are capable of allowing ourselves to be able to dream, and not just to have little dreams. We need to allow ourselves to dream big. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. This is where the reshaping begins. Okay. So we talked about retaking and owning. Now we're going to talk about the reshaping. So reshaping and recreating are smarter plans to be able to move forward in a positive direction towards achievement of our dreams and goals. Most of us in business have heard of the smarter plans. And let me explain for what that stands for. So for people who may not be familiar, the S is for systematic, the M is for measurable, the A is for achievable, the R is for related, you know, so it's relatable or relative, okay? And your T is time-based. But I've added that there need to be, and the smart we need to add the E and the R. They need to be editable and revisable. And the reason why I do that is because life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. It truly does. So I've learned this over and over again, the hard way, until it finally stuck. Many of my clients over the years have told me that they had to also learn many things the hard way. And they wish they'd been exposed to my Conquering Skills education at a much earlier age. You know, it's another thing that I learned, that it's that we have to all experience struggles to become who we are today. It makes us stronger. We have to gain those experiences on our own because they're what make us who we are. And that when we are ready, we have to be ready ourselves to be able to move on to the next chapter. People can't push you into that direction. They can't pull you from that direction. You need to want that for yourself. And it doesn't matter if a family member or a teacher or anyone else wants that for you. It's not going to work. It's got to come from inside of you, that you want to be able to retake and start owning your life again so that you can move on to the next chapter and find the excitement that's ahead of you. So allow yourself to be curious about the possibilities that are out there for you. That curiosity has to be greater than the fears you may have. That curiosity piece is thinking outside the box, right? So close your eyes. This is an assignment for you. We're going to do this. So close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself on this beautiful sand beach with crystal clear blue water for miles and miles. There's an ocean of possibilities out there. Okay, now think about this. Does going out into that water excite you because of what you might see or find? Will those fears that you have just keep you on the beach and keep you from being able to experience new things? Or is it going to keep you there as just an observer of life and that happening for everyone else? Thinking outside the box allows us to be more creative, or even use more conventional or creative ways to be able to achieve. They come to us automatically when we allow ourselves to be curious and move forward in a positive direction with our lives and businesses. It'll lead us to opportunities that we may never even have contemplated were possible. This could be in relation to creating a personal relationships, business relationships, networking, and having growth in all of the dimensions of our lives. Now I want you to think of something that you are facing. Now it could be a challenge or it could be an opportunity. Okay, now we're going to close your eyes again. And I want you to ask yourself a what if question. Okay, but ask this question in relation to a positive, or doing it in a positive mindset, thinking of being excited and curious. So the what if, that what if. Okay, so notice the feeling that you have when you do this, when you're thinking of that challenge or opportunity. Think about and experience what you're feeling in your entire body. Notice that the ideas that flow to you. Think about it, how you have those feelings of physical and emotional feelings. Allow yourself to feel those and connect to them. Now keep your eyes closed still. And now, with that same challenge or opportunity, I want you to ask yourself a what if question. But now with that, do it in relationship to a negative and questioning, maybe allowing the naysayer voices into your head. What if? Oh no, what if this happens? Or what if that? But, you think about it that way. And now notice immediately the differences that you feel, both emotionally and physically. You can open your eyes when you're ready. I share this with you to show you the power of not only the words that we speak aloud to ourselves do, but the ones and how we think of inside our head, the words we don't even ever speak to anyone else or to ourselves. We don't speak them aloud, just inside our head. And how these matter and how our mindset matters. It's really key. It's a huge part of the importance of how we approach things. So the next step on creating our smarter plans is to have the courage to start and keep working these plans. Even when things get turned upside down and wrenches get thrown into the works, because we know they will. That's just life happening to us. I promise it will. And whether we are ready for it or not, life is going to happen every day in all 8 dimensions of our lives, right? So the next piece of the puzzle that I want to talk about is what brings everything together. And that is to develop habits that you need to be consistent while you're working the smarter plans that you've created. Consistency is key. That piece of the puzzle is remaking. Okay, this is that. So we talked about retaking, right, and owning. Now we talked about reshaping and allowing ourselves the possibility to dream and dream big. Now we're talking about remaking. Okay, so now remaking, you need to remake those habits that no longer serve us and no longer serve the new us. Boy, that word change is scary. Just the thought of change is scary, isn't it? It is. Haven't we all heard the definition, though, of what insanity is? It's to keep doing what we've been doing and expect things to be different. So now we really need to change. So now the good news I have for you is there's a system in place that you can utilize as your own GPS system to get you from where you're currently finding yourself to where you want to be in life or business. I've created the Rise Above platform to help people from utilizing my book as a tool that it was written to be, as well as the other things that I have in my platform as the goal achievement strategist. I have my events and my courses and so on. But I'm not here today to just tell you about the things that I have to sell you. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to encourage, educate, and empower you to be able to live your life more purposefully and joyfully. I want you to know, again, that if you're here watching and listening, you're not here by coincidence. You are meant to be here at this event, watching and listening. Are you ready to keep learning more about the possibilities that lie out there for you in that great ocean of opportunities? Everything in my Rise Above platform is meant to encourage, educate, and empower from my proprietary Conquering Skills education that is utilized in all that I teach, whether it's with one-on-one with clients, in groups, workshops, boot camps, and even retreats. You may even find that the show episodes here will have some of that content, maybe the Rise Above Summit speakers, and even in the anthology book series. As a goal achievement strategist, I'm not here to inform you. I'm here to transform you into achievers. I don't consider myself as a motivational speaker as much as I do an activational one. My Bliss retreats for women, Bliss boot camps for men, Finding Bliss workshops for the LGBTQI communities, and the Bliss intensives that focus on helping those who are on the quest to find what they may be looking for or maybe have been for years. The BLISS stands for belief in oneself, love for oneself, identifying what's holding you back, setting free what no longer serves you, and setting course on achievement of your dreams and goals. At this point in my own life, I choose to live it purposely, joyfully, and gratefully. If I could draw 3 little circles, it's where they all meet in the middle. That is what I call bliss. That's the sweet spot. And one of my goals in life is to aid as many people globally to be able to experience that same feeling while they're living their own lives to their own fullest potentials and having fewer could have, should have, and would haves. I've shared with you already that I'm a speaker, but what I haven't shared with you is I'm also an Amazon International Best-Selling author with the second edition of my first book. There's so many things that you will learn when you read it, and you'll learn about me. One thing being that another one of my goals is to leave a legacy for my grandchildren. One being my philosophy of life is that it's like a jigsaw puzzle and how it relates to our life's canvas and our life's journeys. Another thing being that I walk my own talk and I choose not to quit. Hence the second edition of my first book and the story that why I had to write the second edition to begin with. Another being that the book is written as a tool that you can use over and over, reuse until you learn the system that I've created as a goal achievement strategist, and it becomes a second nature to you. Another being that, I know that you are worthy and capable of having more, being more, and doing more if you choose to. If I came from where I was and have gotten to where I am now, living through a childhood that most people couldn't conceive, let alone believe, it affected me well into adulthood, but it's gotten me to where I am today. And I have no intention of stopping right here anytime soon. So I assure you, I'm here to guide others through the system that I've created as a goal achievement strategist and I use it today as I walk my own talk daily. Here's another thing I want you to make you aware of. I made some mistakes intentionally in the book just to show people that I'm not perfect. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but people may criticize me and try to bring me down over that. So you can get the Kindle or paper book version to see what I'm talking about. And the final thing I want to share with you is I'm not perfect. No one is. I've never been perfectly wise, perfectly witty, or perfectly wonderful. But you know what? I have always been perfectly me. One of the things that you might hear me say quite often is it's time to put on the big girl panties and get to work. Another is that you have to have a curiosity that's greater than your fears and the courage to work those smarter plans that you put together. And you have to have the consistency to keep steadfast in working those plans until you achieve your goals. And yet another is that we need to learn to articulate our dreams and goals, create our smarter plans so we can activate them and ultimately achieve them. Oh, and one I probably use the most is that life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. And one of my favorites, and a quote of my very own, is that life is not really a problem to be solved as much as it is a mystery to be lived. Now that you know a little bit more about me, I want to share more with you about my passion for how the entire Rise Above challenges in all 8 dimensions of life, the whole platform came from, and what you can expect as a regular viewer of the show. There's a system in place as you utilize it as your own GPS to get from where you are to where you want to be in your life or business. All the puzzle pieces come together when you choose to rise above with Patricia Jo Grover. I've got your back, because I set up this Rise Above platform to cover the needs that most individuals have, because I needed these things myself in my own life's journey, and I still use them to this day, daily. It began after I had 3 failed marriages and wanting to find overall wellness in my life while I was in the pursuit of continued growth and balance in all of the 8 dimensions of life. My research showed me that many people think about wellness in terms of just physical health only. The word invokes thoughts of nutrition, exercise, weight management, those types of things. But wellness, however, is much more than just physical health. Wellness is a full integration of physical, intellectual, environmental, vocational, social, emotional, spiritual, and financial well-being. It's a complex interaction that leads to better quality of life. Overall wellness is commonly viewed as having a balance in all of those 8 dimensions, but having that is next to impossible to maintain consistently. Each dimension contributes to our own sense of wellness and quality of life, and each affect and overlap each other. But at times, one may be more prominent than the other, and neglect of any one dimension for any length of time has adverse effects on our overall health. The 8 dimensions of life that give us this overall wellness are physical, intellectual, environmental, vocational, social, emotional, spiritual, and financial. So let's talk a little bit about each of these to show you why I created the Rise Above show, the Rise Above Summits, and the Rise Above Anthology book series. Oh, and the Rise Above project, which I'm excited to tell you a little bit about later. As the goal achievement strategist, I teach my proprietary Conquering Skills education to aid people in their own journeys to goal achievement, so they can live their lives to their own fullest potentials. All of the 8 dimensions of our lives are part of our life's journeys. And even though I've had some experience in each of them, I boldly confess that I'm by far not considered a professional in all 8 dimensions. Hence, that's why I have the show guests come on to the Rise Above show. And we rise above our challenges in all of those 8 dimensions, and we're able to turn believers into achievers. The show is encouraging, educating, and empowering. I interview these guests, and they share struggles they may have had in their personal or professional lives and how they have made it through, and/or products or services that they now offer to help people along their journeys to goal achievement. The show went over so well, and I had so many great responses. Then came the Rise Above Summit, and now that's happening on a quarterly basis and being set up with the speakers sharing in all 8 dimensions of life. Followed by the Rise Above Challenges Anthology book series, where the show guests and summit speakers can submit a chapter for that book that talking about a topic that covers those 8 dimensions. It gives people the ability to absorb via text rather than just from audio or video. And then one of the things I'm personally most proud of is my nonprofit, the Rise Above Project, which it's been accepted under the umbrella from the Institute for the Advancement of Humanity, which is a 501c3 organization. The Rise Above Project will allow for women who've been through domestic abuse or trauma, as well as individuals who are underprivileged and who may not have been given the opportunity to learn life skills or soft skills in their homes or schools, to be able to get these services at free or reduced rates. The base of the Rise Above Project will be centered around the proprietary Conquering Skills education that I teach as a goal achievement strategist. And there will be other courses available through the project that will be taught by professionals that also serve in all 8 dimensions of life. Back to talking more about the 8 dimensions of life, so that everyone can get a feel for what kind of topics that the show guests, summit speakers, contributing book authors, and project instructors will be covering. Are you excited about what kind of topics we'll be covering in each of these dimensions of life? I know I am. So hey, grab a piece of paper and a pencil. See what I did already when I tell you? I'm already activating you. Are you all ready? Seriously, you might want to grab a pen and piece of paper right now so we can get started right away. I'm going to give you all a better idea of what the 8 dimensions of life are and why you may want to become a regular viewer of the Rise Above show. I want to be sure that I get guests on that are sharing content, relevant topics to viewers may want to learn more about. As I share the information with you Think of anything that you'd like to hear about or see as a topic under these dimensions and write them down. Send in your request. We'll look for a guest that covers that topic. So let's get started with the physical dimension. Physical wellness encompasses a variety of behaviors, including adequate exercise, proper nutrition, and abstaining from harmful habits, and protecting ourselves from injuries and harm. Developing such healthy habits today will only add years to your life and enhance the enjoyment and quality of those years. Intellectual dimension. The intellectual dimension encourages creative, stimulating mental activities. Our minds need to be continually inspired and exercised just as our bodies do. People who possess a high level of intellectual wellness have an active mind and continue to learn. An intellectually well person uses resources available to them to expand their knowledge and improve their skills. They keep up to date on current events and participate in activities that stimulate our minds. Environmental wellness doesn't just mean ecological. It can refer to our home, our work, our school, even our neighborhoods. Environmental wellness is an awareness of the unstable state that environment may be and the effects that it has on your daily habits in that environment. It consists of maintaining a way of life that maximizes harmony with that environment and minimizes harm to that environment. It includes being involved socially and being socially responsible to protect that environment. The vocational dimension. Vocational occupational wellness includes making your gifts, your skills, and your talents to gain purpose and enrich your life. The development of the vocational satisfaction and wellness is related to your attitude about your work or your education. Achieving optimal occupational wellness allows you to maintain a positive attitude and experience satisfaction and pleasure with your employment or education. Occupational wellness means successfully integrating a commitment to your occupation or education into your total lifestyle and satisfaction to make it rewarding. Social dimension. Social wellness refers to your ability to interact successfully in a global community and to live up to the expectations and demands of your personal or professional life. This means learning good communication skills, developing intimacy with others and yourself, creating support networks with family and friends. Social wellness also includes respect for others and for yourself, and contributing to your community and to the world. It builds a sense of belonging. The emotional dimension. Emotional wellness is a dynamic state that fluctuates frequently, just like the other 7 dimensions of wellness. Being emotionally well is typically defined as possessing the ability to feel and express human emotions such as happiness, sadness, and even anger. It means having the ability to love and to be loved and achieving a sense of fulfillment in life. Emotional wellness encompasses optimism, self-esteem, self-acceptance, and the ability to share your feelings. The spiritual dimension. Spiritual wellness involves possessing a set of guiding beliefs, principles, or values that help you give direction in your life. It encompasses a high level of hope, faith, and commitment to individual beliefs that give you a sense of meaning and purpose. It's a willingness to seek meaning and purpose to human existence and maybe even question the things that you can't readily explain or understand. A spiritually well person seeks harmony with what lies within as well as outside of us. And the financial dimension. As many of the other dimensions of life, this one also overlaps. And it's been proven time and again that if we're not financially healthy, it can affect us individuals, emotionally, socially, in our relationships with our family and friends. In our home environments, it can cause us to shut down and intellectually negatively affect our physical wellness. Hey, if you haven't come up with any ideas or topics yet, I'm sure you may. And I still want you to be able to continue and grow personally and professionally. I know I do. How about you? I'm excited to have you along with me for the journey with the show. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful ride. With the Riseabove platform, we realize that people learn in different ways. Some by reading, some by learning, some by listening, and some by doing. So we've created many ways and to have those bases covered as much as possible. The issues related to the global pandemic have caused us to have to focus on doing things more virtually. And thank goodness for that technology allows us to do what we've been doing thus far. I'm excited to share with you that these options are available to everyone to connect to Riseabove. It's not only for the show, but for the summits, for the Riseabove anthology book series, and the Riseabove project, which is, again, the nonprofit under the umbrella for the Institute for the Advancement of Humanity, which is a 501c3 organization. The Institute for the Advancement of Humanity is a Georgia nonprofit corporation established to provide project-based services to women and children across the globe. Through its services, it provides nurturing while fostering the inner growth and development of women and children that it reaches. The Riseabove project will allow for women who have been through domestic abuse and trauma, as well as individuals who are underprivileged and may not have been given the opportunity to learn life skills and soft skills in their homes or schools, to be able to get these services at reduced or free rates. With the entire Riseabove platform, the mission is to serve, allowing the customers and clients to have positive growth in any or all of the 8 dimensions of life, wherever they're finding that they want or need it. So I'm proud to say that the Riseabove show was the catalyst that allowed me, as the goal achievement strategist, to serve on several levels and start to spread the message that people are out there who may have had struggles with similar things, just like the audience members have had as they've wanted to rise above. They may need that now. While I found that on social media, there's great ways to get messages out, but there's so many different platforms it gets confusing. So I really wanted to take advantage of streaming here. I want this opportunity to get more exposure to a wider array of people who may be apt to and ready to take the steps that they need to rise above the challenges they may be facing. Until next time, rise above the challenges that life bring your way, and have a great day.